Wow.
Yeah, that is something.
This
Certainly.
is called the Friendship Award.
Wow, so I've finally seen one in person. This is the highest honor a foreigner can get in China, no?
No.
What is the highest then?
Isabel got a Friendship Medal.
Friendship Medal.
But that's probably less than 20 people. This is less than 2,000. And that one, but that's a newer one.
Yeah.
That's a newer one. And let's see.
You should have, why isn't that on a display case or something?
Because I don't have a display case.
What's that? Is that not a display case?
Oh, that's an idea. Gilbert has a shelf. He has a wall with photos and stuff, and he has a shelf right below the wall. But that's an idea. Maybe I'll change that.
Wow.
So.
Please don't break it.
Nope.
Wow.
This is the Great Wall Friendship Award, which is Beijing.
Wow.
And this I got in 2014, but they give it out over a 3-year period. So it's 2011 to 2014.
So this is
Beijing.
Specifically making contributions to the Beijing city somehow.
Yeah.
Can I ask what you did to earn the Beijing Great Wall Friendship Award?
I promote China and promote Beijing.
Go Beijing. Okay, I'm on it.
A number of my songs are about Beijing.
Yeah, these are fantastic. I'm surprised they're not.
This is the National Friendship Award, but that's a good idea. Maybe I should change that. I hadn't thought about that. I've been changing a number of things recently.
No one has these, So.
I've been changing a number of things recently, and maybe that's what I need to do.
Wow, that's beautiful.
And this goes with the medal. And then this, so this was also 2014. And then this was 2015.
Wow! Oh my goodness!
So this is part of my museum here.
So, what is this giant award here?
I went to the, in 2 years, 2011 and 2013, I sang at the Zhangjiajie International Country Music Week in Zhangjiajie, Hunan Province. This was the first one, and this was the second one. Second year, or maybe that was the second, this was the third, I can't remember, but they gave awards. It wasn't really a competition.
This trophy looks familiar because I think I have the same one.
Which one is this?
This is a video award.
Right, this was the video. This was a video made by China News Service, News Network, CNN, but it was a video about me, and they got the first prize, but I got the trophy. So, anyway, this, my son and daughter-in-law, they were in Brazil visiting, but that's kind of old. These are all of the little certificates that I've gotten.
Wow.
Many of them.
And this one?
This was Book Ambassador. Beijing International Book Festival several years ago. They had, several years ago, they invited me and they asked me to do a speech. And they wanted me to talk about a favorite book. And I said no.
You don't have a favorite book?
I said I'll talk about 2 favorite books.
What are your 2 favorite books?
And one of them was Red Star Over China.
I saw that it's in your library, yeah.
And the other one was Memoirs of a Journalist and a Jew by
Oh, really?
Because
you recommended that book to me previously. I didn't
Yeah.
know that was one of your favorite books.
Yeah.
I thought you were just saying, hey,
no,
this
that's
is a book.
what I had heard of him before, but once I read that, and then I read all of his other books, and then started doing presentations. So I talked about the 2 of those.
You have a lot of paintings. Could you tell us about a few of those?
Painting, yes. There's no, as you can see, there's no place to hang them, but also these are brick walls. So I can't put nails in them.
Oh, I see, yeah.
So, and these little gluey things. I have many smaller paintings that fall.
Yeah, I've done the same thing.
Right. So
I have a picture of Socrates that keeps falling.
I stopped posting them. This was, you mentioned my friend Michael Crook.
Yep.
did this, and this is one of these. I can't read it, but here's my name, and it can be read both horizontally and vertically.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
It's like a palindrome, kind of.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
over here you have a picture of Isabella Crook,
Isabella
framed,
Crook.
which is Michael's mother.
Yeah.
She's
Okay.
104.
No, 107.
107.
Let me point out this one here, and there's another one over there. This is my friend, and she became my agent and my musical partner, Fuhan Sarahu. So this picture here is a film that she made about Isabella
Really?
Crook.
I didn't know she was also a filmographer.
She wasn't. This is the first film project
Oh, wow.
she ever did. Anyway, what happened was Fuhan got to know Isabel, and she was doing some other work and traveling all over China. And Isabel had told her many stories about her youth. And she happens to go. Isabel was born in Changsha, and she was traveling in Sichuan province, and she came across this place, Bailuding, which is this village where they used to go when she was a kid during the holidays, during summertime. And she talked to one of the leaders in the village and talked to her about Isabel and said, "You should have a museum here." And they said, "What a great idea! What a great idea!" And he says, "But the problem is, she hasn't been here in a long time. Nobody knows her here." And Fuhan says, "What if I make a film about her?" And then she comes back and she's telling me, and she's telling Isabel's family, "We're going to make a film. I'm going to make a film about Isabel." And everybody's saying, "Yeah. Okay, yeah, good. Do it. Yeah, sure." And I don't know if you saw this film.
I didn't.
It's really beautiful. It is real, but she wrote it, she directed it, she produced it, she did some of the filming, she did some of the editing, and it's she's currently in the U.S. and it's one of the things she's working part-time for a local TV station, doing filming.
Well, that's fantastic.
And she's taking a class in editing.
But who performs with you now?
Nobody.
So it's just the Mark show now.
Yeah, well, at some point she'll come back. I'm confident of that.
Well,
Some people aren't, but I am. So many things that I don't know.
Hey everyone, my name is Jason Smith, host of The Bridge. We have Dr. Mark Levine in his home with us today. So could you tell us a little bit about who you are?
I am Mark Levine.
Yeah.
I come from the United States, although I haven't been there in 12 years. And I'm a sociologist. I was born and raised in Los Angeles.
With PhD.
PhD.
In sociology, yeah.
And which I got. Many people are quite stunned a little bit when I say I got it in 1976. Many of the faculty members who I'm explaining this to say, "I was not born then."
I was born in 1977, by the way.
77.
So wait, you are a sociologist, a doctor. You have worked for NGOs your entire
No,
life.
it wasn't an NGO. Not non-government organization. Wasn't NGOs are recognized by governments.
Non-recognized.
Yeah.
What is that called?
A
charitable organization.
Illegal.
A legal charitable organization.
No, it wasn't a charitable organization. It was a mutual benefit association.
Mutual benefit association that helped people who are not members. As far as I know.
Yeah, as members, people would sign up as members, but you didn't have to be a member.
And you also are a guitarist, singer, folk singer.
Songwriter. I've written a couple of books about China, one about public speaking. 1974, I co-edited one about sociological theory. But my academic sociology background is very much in the past. And more recently, with many of the things that I've done, it's more of a public sociology or even popular sociology.
Popular. You've used the term public sociology with me in the past.
Yeah, so that dealt with my organizing and taking the skills. Popular sociology, there was a book. The first time I heard this book, it was called The Hidden Persuaders, and it was about advertising by a man named Vance Packard. And he was, I don't know what he was, journalist or something, but it was essentially sociology, but not with all of the theoretical stuff or all of the abstract or technical vocabulary, but he was talking about the impact that advertising has on society, how it affects spending habits and purchasing characteristics and other kind of stuff, and the impact that it has on society.
I would be actually very interested, not just like on the why someone buys the Pepsi, but how that then changes their life.
Yes.
Yeah. Or changes society.
Yeah. So my writing, the books that I've written, they're basically sociological analyses, but without a lot of the theory behind it, and mostly by talking to people, and here's what people are telling me.
You're also a professor.
And I write songs about China, but they're all about my observations about China, and my experiences. So I consider my music part of my sociology.
So, okay, you also teach history. I teach public speaking.
Yeah, I teach American and British history and culture, and I teach public speaking, and I teach debating.
Do you do that through a sociological lens? Or is that something completely different?
No, I deal with a lot of things that are topics that are not necessarily common topics within these kinds of fields. Well, so we will deal with for example, yesterday in my debating class, I had students talking about a question. The question was, the world would be a safer place if no countries had nuclear weapons. Okay, so...
Someone has to take the comp.
Yes.
Wow. Sounds a lot like a lot of fun, actually.
Both. We had both, and I assigned who was what. And I didn't know what their views would be.
Yeah.
We had another one yesterday in my public speaking class where I had students, I showed them a little video clip, a news clip from the U.S. from a few years ago, and it was about, as a Californian, you have great familiarity with our tendency to have a lot of forest fires.
Unfortunately.
Okay, so this was talking about the fact that 14% of the people who fight forests, who are firefighters fighting the forest fires in California are prisoners in California prison.
I didn't know this.
14%.
This is a way to get out of prison.
No.
Spend some time
It's a way to get $1 a day.
Wow.
Fighting a fire. And it's and one only nonviolent offense, people convicted of nonviolent offenses, but I had to explain to my students that many people who are in prison actually haven't been convicted of anything, but it was a result of a plea bargain. All right, where, if we have to
if we fight and lose, you're 20 years.
On these 10 charges, you're going to be there for 20 years, but we'll drop these others if you take this one and do 2. Okay, second, so nonviolent crimes only. Second was you have to be on good behavior within the prison. And they take these people, and this particular video was about, there are like 40 camps in California, and 3 of them are for women prisoners who are fighting fires. Wow. So it was interviewing the women and talking about all this. And the one thing that this didn't mention was the fact that when these prison-trained real firefighters get out, nobody will hire them to fight fires because you've been a prisoner.
Right.
So they can't get jobs. So the question, and people could decide yes or no, whatever, and they had to put together their arguments, and this was in public speaking, so they were working in the debate one, they're working with a partner. In this one, they're working by themselves, and they had to deal with the question of should people who have been trained to fight fires in prisons be allowed to have a job when they get out as a firefighter.
Wow.
Right? So this deals with questions of criminology and incarceration, and these are, economics and employment and discrimination and all kinds of topics that I would deal with in a sociology class. Right? So I'm teaching public speaking, but I use a lot of topics and aspects that I would cover in sociology.
I wanted to, thank you very much. I also wanted to cover like the plethora of things that you're involved in. And you were also a judge of public speaking beyond
80 competitions.
80 competitions all over China.
All over China, and all ages ranging from 4 to 54. To
Wow.
little preschool kids, little, hi, my name is Johnny. And up to adults, because I've done several for different companies.
Yeah.
Companies have competitions. Some government offices have had competitions. And I've done some judging. I didn't do judging, but I did coaching for CGTN, China Media Group. Right, several years ago. It was the either the 20th or 25th anniversary of relations between China and South Africa, and they put out this call: please write your China-South Africa story. And it was the people, Chinese people who had some connection to South Africa, and South Africans who had some connection to China. And I got a call saying, we'd like you to come. And they had picked 4 Chinese and 3 South Africans. They were all meeting in Beijing. And they said, we'd like you to come coach them for 2 days. All right. And so I agreed to come for 1 day, and then said, let's see. And then I had such a great time the first day. I said, before we were even done, I said, I'll see you tomorrow. I'll come back. But it was great, and I got to hear people, and I was actually actively coaching them. This wasn't a competition, but this was, they would do little, similar to TED Talks, but it was like 13 and a half minutes and a 1.5 minute introductory video that CGTN had created about them.
Wow.
All right. And so I wasn't able to, they had, I think it was 8 people, and my time was not free enough to handle all 8 of them. So I got 4, and they got somebody else to do the other 4. But I've done all different kinds of things related to public speaking, and to a lesser extent debate, but some debate, but lots of public speaking.
I guess my next question, because you do a lot of things, is that why did you come to China, part 1, and part 2, why did you stay?
Okay. Why did I come? I came in 2005. I had had a few friends who had come, and this was, the Beijing Olympics were held in 2008, and there had already been a big push for students to learn Chinese, but China, as you are aware, always believes it's appropriate to be a good host. So therefore, we're expecting foreigners from all over the world. Very few of whom are going to speak Chinese, so therefore we're going to have more people to speak English. And so I came for a year because there was a big push, and I wasn't planning on staying. I came to Beijing. I'll go back to your second question in a minute. And when I came to Beijing, I was teaching in another province for 2 years, and in 2007 I came to Beijing. And I arrived early in the summer, and I was supposed to start at my university, Minzu University of China, in September, but I had this time. So during that time, I taught nurses from a hospital, Jishuotan Hospital in Beijing. I taught people working for China Post. I did public speaking training for employees of Bank of China, right? There was lots going on, and it was everybody. And I didn't teach them, but I learned that there were police officers who were learning learning English, and
Can I interrupt you just a little bit? So you taught
bankers.
It's hard to
do sometimes.
You taught bankers. I'm very curious. Is that like, hello, welcome to the help desk kind of conversation? Like
No, I was teaching public speaking to
public
bankers.
speaking. So you're not just teaching like
no, they had topics.
public engagement.
No,
This is for like executives?
No, this was 30-year-olds. 30-year-olds.
So what was the purpose
level.
they were going to use this public speaking class for if it
Because
wasn't
the people that were
customer facing?
the people who were actually in this class, all right, were selected, and these were people who had some basic ability to speak English. They could handle the window, All right,
Yeah.
they could handle the simple transactions,
Right, yeah.
and they wanted them to be able to do more and explain more and talk more about China, whether it was in a formal public speak, but at least to be able to have something beyond "Hello, how are you?"
Like to do business with other banks or clients.
Maybe,
something
I don't
like
know.
that. Wow,
This was a long time ago. I don't know that I ever actually knew, but this was in 2007,
wow.
which was a while ago.
So yeah, why did you stay in China for so long?
I actually stayed. I was planning to go back to the United States. I'd only come for 1 year. And it was very welcoming. It's a very extraordinarily welcoming place, and that was good. But it was actually some more negative things that caused me to stay.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, negative things. Not negative things from my perspective.
Yeah.
One was anytime I'd mentioned the United States, people would say, oh, especially students, oh, everyone in the United States is rich. We need to be like that. So as a sociologist, I academically knew that was not true. And I had just spent 30 years working and living in poor communities in my country, your country, our country. And I knew firsthand that wasn't true through life experience. And I said, this is a problem that so many people think this. Second, I had given, in my second year, no, the first year, I had given students an assignment. I had 75 students in 2 English writing classes. They were all juniors, third-year students, and I had given them all a writing assignment. I had given them a copy of an essay by the British philosopher Bertrand Russell, all right, from his memoir. And the essay has various names, but I've always referred to it as What I Lived For. I think it might also be named by the 3 Passions or something. And I gave this to my students, very short, less than 1 page. I said, read it. Imagine yourself 60 years from now. What did you live for? And 75 students. One said, when I was young, disabled people were treated really badly, and I figured this was terrible and I had to do something to change that. 2 said, oh, and there was a big gap in income between the city and the countryside, and I wanted to narrow that, bring up those in the country. 72 said, I live to have a good life for me and my family. And I said, I understand that, but this was, at the time I was 58, so that meant it was 57 years after the founding of the People's Republic of China. And nobody was thinking about anybody else. And I've been to, throughout every province has some kind of memorial to people, particularly the communists who fought against Japan against the war of aggression, or fought in the Civil War against the Kuomintang. Many of them are 17, 18, 19, early 20s. And I've been to a number of them in various places. And
Red tourism.
yeah, but it was before that term was even began to be used. And and I've always brought young Chinese people with me, students or others in their 20s and stuff. And they always say, I never would have gone here, but I'm so glad you brought me here. And one of the things that I explain is, look, if these people had only thought about themselves and their family, where would you be today? And anyway, so as a result of those 2 things, although my plan was to go back, I realized I had work to do here.
I mean, I didn't teach in the United States, and I didn't have the chance to conduct the same survey. But I feel like Americans probably answer in a similar way.
Oh, yeah. This was part of the concern. I said, this was 57 years after the founding of the People's Republic of China, and these kids sound like they're Americans. And I understand people being concerned about their safety and security and their family and so on. But I often will give an example. If I'm doing some job and I'm making $100 an hour, okay?
Gosh,
and,
I want that job.
Right, and you have no job.
Yeah. Right.
And your boss decides he or she is tired of paying me $100 an hour.
Right.
So they go buy a little piece of equipment.
Yeah.
And then they look around, and all of the special skills that I have are now contained in that little box.
Yes.
And they come to you and they say, Jason, you need a job? You say, yeah. Now,
Use this
you don't
box.
wish me any harm, but the job is my job. And you're going to take it. Why? Because you need to take it. Because you have a family to support. And you should take it. Why?
They call carpetbaggers, right? This is the term in America.
Well, that goes back to after the Civil War, but
People worried about other people taking their jobs.
Okay.
Creates conflict.
yeah, I haven't heard it used in that context. But part of what happens is also you should take it. Why? I didn't think about you. So why should you think? Why should I expect you're going to be concerned about me? So therefore, I'm not as safe as I thought. So I have to pay attention to you. I have to be concerned about other people because your life is going to affect mine. So therefore, mine has to have an effect on yours. We have to deal with.
Sounds like a form of
together.
game theory with sociology in it. In order for us to both succeed, the best outcome is for both of us to work together.
Yeah, we don't have to challenge that.
Well, I'm not trying to challenge.
The reality is, it's got to be. Yeah, if we're not working together on this, then it's going to be over.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
going to be over.
So would you be so kind as to play a song for us today?
I'm always happy to play a song. I don't know if you can hear it, but my voice is a little rough.
It does sound a little.
It's been a little rough for about a week, and I have been teaching.
Just a short song.
Yeah. This book is all my songs. Actually, all of them aren't here, because some of them, I'm not sure where they are. They're on one of the 2 computers or one of the 5 hard drives. Okay, this one is a special one. I don't want to cause problems by introducing other media, but this was specially written for China Daily.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, China Daily. They had this series of things which was called My China Surprise. And they interviewed a number of foreigners, and then when they got to me, they said, would you write a song called My China Surprise?
They asked for the name?
They asked for the name.
Oh,
They asked for the song, they asked for the name, and I just said, sure. Now, this is an important thing about my songwriting, because when I first started writing songs, my response would have been, I can't do that. But now I've written maybe a dozen songs on request because people asked about them. And I haven't sung it in a while, so I may need to look at the words. My China surprise, you can see it in my eyes. It's the light shines in them wherever I go. My China surprise, you don't have to try. Comes from seeing many things that I don't know. I came to teach in Zhongguo many years ago, but I didn't know that I would learn so much also from my students and my friends. My learning never ends as I've traveled across this country to and fro. My China surprise, you can see it in my eyes. It's the light that shines in them wherever I go. My China surprise, you don't have to try. It comes when seeing the many things that I don't know. I've learned so much about its history and about the cultural diversity. I've seen beautiful scenery and saw how the CPC with the people has brought great prosperity. China's surprise. You can see it in my eyes. It's the light that shines in them wherever I go. My China surprise. You don't have to try. It comes when seeing many things that I don't know. And it comes when seeing so many things that I don't know.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I haven't sung that in 6 months.